Begin story. The market on Arctura station was a place of noise, light, and lies. Vendors shouted over one another. Holographic signs flickered with promises of rare goods, and the stench of coolant and recycled air clung to every corner. Humans, reptilian traders, silicon-based beings. Everyone came here to buy or sell something. Captain Rylan Voss wasn't supposed to be here. Not anymore. Not since the war. But debts had a way of dragging a man back into the places he swore he'd never go again. His ship, the Peregrine, needed repairs after a recent asteroid field run, and Rylan was desperate for a cheap parts deal. That's when he saw her. In the center of the market stood a metal cage. Simple, almost forgotten, and inside it sat a woman. No, not a woman. Her skin shimmered faintly with iridescent blue light. Her hair looked like woven silver strands, and her eyes. They reflected the galaxy itself like two endless starfields. Slave. Rylan's stomach twisted. Slavery was outlawed in most sectors, but the fringe worlds didn't care about galactic code. The sign above her read, Lot number 119, obsolete species. 1 credit. As is. 1 credit. $1. He almost walked past. Almost. But something in her eyes caught him. Not fear, not even hatred. Just emptiness. As if the universe had already forgotten her, and she was waiting for it to finish the job. He stopped. What species is she? The vendor, a four-eyed reptilian called Grix, looked up from his datapad and grinned with his uneven teeth. Old stock human. From the Elari Dominion. No one wants him anymore. War wiped out the rest. Rylan frowned. Elari. I thought they were myths. Grix laughed. You and everyone else. Turns out myths can die too. Rylan's hand went to his credit chip. What's the price again? Grix blinked confused. 1 credit. Just 1. She's useless. Won't talk, won't move, just sits there. 1, Rylan repeated. Fine. I'll take her. The transaction beeped. A digital receipt flashed. Sale complete, 1 credit. Grix tossed Rylan the control key. She's yours. Don't say I didn't warn you. Some say these old ones bring bad luck. Rylan ignored him and approached the cage. As he pressed the release, the door hissed open. The alien woman didn't move at first, then slowly lifted her head. Her voice was barely a whisper. Why would a human buy me? Rylan hesitated. Because no one should be in a cage. Part 2: The Flight. Rylan led her through the market toward his ship. People stared, not just because she was beautiful but because she was impossible. The Elari had been erased during the last galactic purge, victims of their own power. Legend said they could weave energy, bend light, and see beyond physical space itself. He didn't speak until they reached the Peregrine. This ship's not much, he said, glancing over his shoulder. But it's safe. You can rest here. She didn't answer. Only stared out the viewport once they were airborne, the stars reflecting in her eyes again. After a long silence, she finally spoke. You don't even know my name, human. Rylan smiled faintly. Then tell me. Leora. Her voice carried a resonance, like an echo inside his mind. He nodded. Leora. I'm Rylan. The ship hummed quietly as it drifted away from the station. You bought me, she said softly. But you didn't ask what I am. I know what you are, Rylan replied. The last of your kind, right? Leora's gaze turned distant. That's what they say. But they don't understand what that means. Then tell me. She looked at him, eyes glowing faintly now. The Elari were bound to the energy of creation itself. We didn't conquer, we maintained balance. Until your species arrived. Ryland stiffened. Humans. She nodded. You brought war, fire, industry. The balance shattered. My people tried to stop it, but the galaxy chose progress over peace. Ryland rubbed the back of his neck, guilt creeping in even though he hadn't been alive during that time. You're saying humans destroyed your race? No, she said quietly. We destroyed ourselves trying to stop you. The silence that followed felt heavy, as if the ship itself mourned. Part 3: The Memory of Stars. Days passed. Leora began to speak more. She asked questions about Earth. Oceans, rain, laughter. Things she'd never experienced. Rylan in turn asked about the Elari. One evening, as the ship cruised through a nebula, she stood at the observation deck, staring at the glowing clouds outside. Do you see it? She asked. See what? The colors. To you they're just light. To me they're memory. The nebula sings in the frequency of my people's essence. Every Elari leaves a trace in the cosmos. Rylan joined her, unsure whether she spoke in poetry or truth. You mean, you can feel them? She nodded. They're gone but not lost. I hear them when I sleep. They want me to continue the song. Rylan couldn't help but feel awe. And that's why you're still here. Her eyes glistened. No, I survived because I was weak. I ran. Rylan stepped closer. You call that weakness? You're alive. That's strength. For a moment, the distance between them disappeared. The glow of the nebula cast soft light on her face. Alien, yes, but achingly human in her sorrow. Then alarms shattered the silence. Rylan rushed to the console. Pirates. 3 ships inbound. They must have tracked us from the market. Why? Leora asked, calm despite the warning lights. They probably want you back, Rylan said grimly. You're valuable. Leora's eyes hardened. Then let them come. Part 4: Fire and Light. The Peregrine trembled as plasma blasts struck its hull. Rylan maneuvered hard, firing back with the ship's outdated cannons. They're closing in, he shouted. Leora placed a hand on the console. Instantly, the entire cockpit glowed with faint energy. Symbols appeared, ancient, alive, weaving themselves into the controls. What are you doing? Rylan asked, eyes wide. Helping, she said. Trust me. Outside, the Peregrine's engines flared brighter than ever before. The ship moved with impossible agility, dodging blasts like a dancer avoiding raindrops. Then, from Leora's hands, a pulse of white light surged through the hull and exploded outward. The nearest pirate ship disintegrated in an instant. The others fled. When it was over, Rylan stared at her in stunned silence. That wasn't technology. No, she said softly. That was life. She looked exhausted, her glow dimming. I shouldn't have done that. Every time I use my gift, more of me fades. Rylan knelt beside her. Then don't. You're safe now. But Leora shook her head. Safe isn't living. I have to restore what was lost. Part 5: The Forgotten World. Weeks later, Leora guided Rylan to a dead world on the edge of known space, a wasteland of glass and ash. This was home, she whispered as they landed. The atmosphere shimmered faintly, like it remembered what it used to be. She walked out onto the surface, removing her breathing mask. Rylan panicked. Leora, you'll suffocate. But she smiled. No, this place still remembers me. The air rippled around her. The ground began to glow beneath her feet. The world itself seemed to wake, as if it recognized its queen. What's happening? Rylan shouted. She turned to him, eyes blazing with light. You freed me, Rylan. Now I'll free them. From the ruins, energy rose, spectral figures forming from the dust. Not bodies but echoes. The souls of the Elari, drawn to her call,